of something magical, which he may not do.
He got close, but no cigar. However, let's talk about Nuke. I think it was touched a little bit upon earlier that 3D Max do like this map. However, throughout this tournament so far, and the one time we saw it, it was a Titan stomp, and Titan were very strong on it. They really didn't give much for 3D Max. The T side out from 3D Max was, I think they probably got minimal rounds, maybe 2 out of it, I believe. And they went a little bit wrong for them. However, outside of that, they do actually really quite like the map as their own. So I'm looking to see the difference that a day can make sometimes for these guys, and how well they can kind of turn up here. And obviously, Titan maybe not quite so comparable to the Copenhagen Wolves, so a different team to face off against. But if you're already seeing the likes of, let's say, Natu playing well with those SMGs, playing that quite aggressive style, feeling confident, we saw what he did to Titan just yesterday, and God only knows what he can do now.
Well, we're seeing that Tech 9 from SMF, so it's like maybe Hunden's gifted him that one. We'll see if it works out for him. T-side pistols, big deal here on Nuke, and SMF, well, he's going to be the leading man, charging straight through, actually straight down into ramp room. Does catch a glimpse of one as he tries to back on up there. They're going to try and rattle the shots off. They're quick into B right now, and they're immediately on the site. They're going to go for a quick plan.
Yeah, bullying their way through pretty much. Natu's in a good spot there, finds Freeze, but the information will be gathered. Now 4v3, the CT side taking back control after that bomb plant. Disturb needs to get himself into this. Hunden going to place himself in towards the corner, as SMF still surrounded on the site. Going to have to be cautious. 3v2. Asilium, 1 HP goes down to Natu. Now 2v1. Natu looking for these. Hunden in such a great spot here. Time running out. Natu needs to make a play here. He needs to go for this. He gets the angle, but not the shot off. And SMF just going to dance for time here. And, well, he's got it. The bomb goes down. The bomb will go off. And the T side do keep both alive.
And look at that, Hunden didn't actually come out of his door. His SMF's like, I got this, don't worry, I got it covered. And yeah, just waited for that time to tick down, and knew if he was going to go for it, he would have had to go for the defuse, and even then, Hunden would have been there to cover him off. So very well played by the Copenhagen Wolves, good pistol, fast play, and now with those 3 umps in hand and an AK, they should be able to dominate a little bit in this one against 3D Max. Excuse me, Zart, he's going to find them all pushing through ramp room, and he's immediately gone down.
The UMPs have turned on 3D Max now. Snappy, SMF, and Hunden all picking those up, and it's a decisive push towards lower. Natu going to readjust out of those vents as Snappy does find Karon. So it's not looking so good for the CTs right now, one by one being picked up, and they did buy armor and a good couple of pistols, so fairly invested, and so far getting nothing for it, and absolutely rained in upon. There's nothing they can be doing here. Natu did get one, but it's only SMF. The bomb goes down again, and the T side really doing well so far.
Yeah, tried to get that ump himself, and Natu, well, we've seen what he can do with it in the previous match, but the smile on the face of Freeze says it all as they get their first 2 rounds on the board on T side, and Natu not quite looking as cheery as he was at the end of the last matchup, but it's early days. They are, of course, on the CT side. So here we go. This time, of course, full eco from 3D Max, as you'd expect. USPs across the board, and they're actually going to stack out a couple of members in ramp room. That's the direction the Wolves have been going the last few times, but now they're going around the outside, and that again has caught 3D Max napping.
It's nicely done. 3D Max kind of responding to how that last round went down when they had those UMPs in play. But still, Karon does get himself the UMP, so it's not the end of the world. Didn't Freeze might be caught off here? No, deals well with Natu, and they're slowly taking over the map. Stonda being forced down by Freeze as well, and it's only 2 left. And, well, I'm not sure if they're aware where Karon is, but I don't know how much he can really achieve from where he's at, but, well, that's something. Finding SMF, getting himself towards upper. He knows Freeze is there, wildly sprays up the ladder. That is always a bit of a potluck shot, but it's going to work out. Sadly, is all he's going to find. But 3 down, doing a lot more damage, considering that was a completely clean eco almost for the CT side. This time, though, they get to buy up. This is the big round now. 3D Max, if they want this, need to have that nice, clean round coming in to break the backs of the Copenhagen Wolves.
And of course, that outside is where Stonda's going to be aiming. He's got himself the AWP. Still no AWP for the Wolves, actually. We'll see how Stonda works out from. Kenny S had great success out there yesterday. He's going to be looking to try and do the same, try and mimic what Kenny did. Hunden pushing through the smoke, straight in towards Zart. Will manage to land the frag, but Disturb gets the revenge. The Cillian does push around. Freeze, tagged up there by Stonda. Didn't quite get the kill on him. The damage was done. Natu in ramp room, sorry, down in B site. Meanwhile, has 3 members of the Wolves pushing in. Freeze is the only man that's outside now. He's going to try and get to secret.
Oh, Natu trying to work with these flashes, not going to find a Cillian then. And the exchange going down on ramp was perfectly played out for Copenhagen Wolves when they picked up that final member. I'm not sure if it was Zart or Disturbed. I think it was Zart who was the player who finally went down. It was just worthwhile for Hunden to fall for them to get control. But the thing I like about the Wolves is they're not overly rushing these sites. They still respect the fact that Stonder does have the AWP there. Karan has got himself the buy as well. So the Cillian could be called off and actually running straight in towards him. They try to switch up towards upper, expecting Freeze to come through, but Freeze still found the shot, even though Karan was ready for it.
Yeah, SMF picking one up as well, despite the fact he had 3 health, manages to catch the one in the corner. And well, that was a pretty big round for the Wolves, because that would have been a full buy for 3D Max, and now, of course, they're going to have to eco themselves back up. It's just going to be a CZ for Disturbed and a Deagle for Natu, while a couple of P250s, but Copenhagen Wolves, with already 4 rounds on the board on 3D Max's home soil, are doing just what 3D Max did to the Wolves on Cobble.
It's backwards day, and why not? It's always good to see. It was fun. Freeze feeling confident outside. The double stack could have caught him out then. You could hear the Deagle coming out from Natu, who was up on the upper catwalk there, just watching the cross, not going to get the shot off, as Freeze will find it very comfortably. The aggressive play through Rampram does finally play off for Disturbed, at least finding Snappy, so could get himself the AK, but I'm not sure how well he can maintain it with 1 minute left on this round.
Yeah, Stommer just ducking for cover there. Gets out, gets 2.
Wow, that was a bit cheeky.
Make it costly for the Wolves, but unfortunately for them, they've got 10k in their bank, so no worries for the Wolves. And 5-0, what a great start on Nuke already. They already have a great T-side.
Yeah, they're going to be laughing. This is like looking back at what happened in the previous map. As you said, it's kind of this backwards trend, but nicely done for the T side there. They're going to be pretty confident, pretty happy now. Anything plus this is a good bonus. 3D Max need to stop it now, though. It's all pressure on them. After such a great start in that first map that should never have been theirs on paper, now it's go time.
Oh, Freeze just checked to the side. Stonder peeks. The little jewel that goes on outside, still not yet concluded. We can see, of course, through the X-ray, not quite as easy for Stonder as he holds the angle. While this is all happening, the rest of the team are just looking for position. It's just timing. Now they're smoked off. Now they can go for it. That's why that grenade will come through. Won't do too much damage, though. Stonder's going to have to readjust his position and back up into heaven. Meanwhile, the rest of the Wolves are going to push on through straight into A.
Yeah, great flash came out then from Stonder to let him back up in towards upper and actually Disturbed. Anchor on creating the crossfire that's going to just mow down the T side. But can they clear up the rest? Hunden is still there. Freeze going to push in. Hunden and Freeze doing the damage, but now just Freeze left with the AWP in hand. Stonder to his left. Zart in the fence, dancing up and down. The Tech-9 comes in. Freeze gets it! Beautiful! Tech-9 again, just shoved down 3D Max's throat. And Copenhagen Wolves get 6 rounds now on the T side here. This is massive for them.
Well, a taste of their own medicine for 3D Max there. We saw Natu pulling off the 4K with that Tech-9 in the previous match on Cobblestone. And Freeze pulls off a bit of wonder skill for himself. 6-0. What a great start for the Wolves. And, you know, we were coming into this one saying it's probably going to be 3 maps. We're expecting it, but we could have thought it would have been the other way around. We thought Wolves would have picked up Cobble easily and Nuke 3D Max. But it, well, roles reversed. And Wolves already off to a flying start. Karun, though, he's had a good defensive job in the A site in the previous round. Let's see if he can hold them back, because the Wolves are setting up once again.
And they're looking like they want to go towards up. They're all in that kind of lobby area, but they are going to make a play out of it, actually. And that Molly's going to start hurting real bad. Karan did find Snappy with it, but didn't find much more. And this force-up from the CT's not really paying off just yet. Stonder's nade will find SMF, but the upper bomb site is starting to be really pressured, and Freeze just somehow doing so much damage. And Stonder is no way in a position to even really challenge it.
Well, yes and no, because you look at a Cillian and Hunden, they're both very low hit points, but with a 3-man defense, you'd assume, oh, he's going to go for it now, USP. Oh, but it's Freeze, unfortunately, for him. Freeze, oh my God, he had to land that shot, and very nearly made him pay with the USP, but Freeze spins around once again with that Tech-9 and comes out on top. What could have been, no doubt.
And just look at this. This play was just brilliant. Freeze forced himself into that, and Stonder could have just stomped it there, but the power of that Tech-9, he closed out the prior round then, round 7, and closed out that one even more. So Zar yet to get himself on the board as well. It's been a quiet game for 3D Max, and the money is just getting worse and worse. Good nade, though, will take SMF and Hunden a little lower.
Yeah, but Freeze is once again got himself in position. That grenade looking for stun, but he's not there. He's backed away, and of course this is just pistols for 3D Max, so anything they can get away from the walls would be a bonus. SMF does take Disturb down. Stonda also tagged up heavily. That grenade from Asilion will finish the job. Karun's going to try and peek himself around the corner, but this is all for naught for 3D Max, unfortunately. And Zar, the last man with the Deagle, well, he's in a tricky situation, it's safe to say, because they know exactly where he is. And they're just going to pin him down, pin him out the corner. And this will be the 8th round for Copenhagen Wolves, which is absolutely outstanding T-side beginning. 8 rounds back-to-back.
And I can imagine 3D Max having almost flashbacks to how they felt in that previous game up against Titan, where they kind of felt this pressure again, the T-side picking up far too many for their likings. And really, I haven't seen a team taking over that upper bomb site so competently as I have just seen Copenhagen Wolves. The way they've been doing it consistently is very impressive, and I don't know if it's them playing it well or just 3D Max being pretty subpar at it, but Freeze gaining confidence every single round, and Stonda having to adjust for it. He's starting to look maybe for a slightly more unorthodox shot, a little bit more risky shot on it as well.
The thing is, that's actually the position of Freeze has played. He jumped on that box and got over it the last 3 rounds running, so he was ready for it, but this time Freeze didn't do it. He adjusts himself, and well, the game of cat and mouse between these AWPers continues. Karun, though, does manage to find Snap as he tries to push on towards A site, and that's give pause for thought for the Wolves as they find themselves 1 man down. Azan actually going looking for the kills and will find it. Asilion down.
Yeah, they kind of gave up that outside control, putting Stonda towards ramp, but Zark going to hold it towards those lowers, and SMF just kind of left wondering how he's going to get through to this. With those 3 players, it's very difficult to break anywhere. Hunden was looking, not going to find much. Disturbed had the superior angle on that one, just denying him any step towards that lower bomb site. Bomb now loose. Free still having the AWP. I'm pretty sure he can still afford to probably go for this, but, you know, I don't think he's going to particularly want to as SMF. Just buying time. I think there may be doors coming in as well. I think Freeze has actually got issues, it looks like. Maybe mouse problems. He's, as much as I'm sure he'd love to be pre-aiming that spot, 3D Max do get themselves
holding
around.
Holding the angle really well.
So you can't, I don't believe by the rule set, pause midway through a round, so it wouldn't just freeze then, it has to be at the start of each round. So there will be a small pause here, and we can kind of take a moment for Freeze to kind of fix whatever issues he was having, because clearly something just wasn't working very well for him then. Just kind of staring off into space, and it was only Snappy to reconnect.
Yeah, we just saw the stat for Zart there. He did have a magnificent cobblestone, but he's actually bottom of the board for 3D Max currently. But then again, that's not saying a lot, because he's only got 2 frags. The top guy's only got 8, so it's not exactly a brilliant spread for 3D Max. They've had a very tricky start to this, and now at round 10, they are 8-1 down as the CT side on Nuke. The best they can hope for is picking up every single round now, and that'll only still be 7 rounds, which is just simply not good enough on the CT side.
Yeah, and normally you could maybe discuss the benefit of what 3D Max can get out of a pause at this point, maybe to reset almost and try and find something to pick up the last couple of rounds here, but as we know, 8-1 is not a scoreline you want to be seeing on that CT side against you. It's diabolical to play against, and they now have to dig so deep for their T-half that I don't know if they can do it. And you can see they're not exactly talking like crazy, they're pretty quiet, not exactly going through stuff. And on the other side, Copenhagen Wolves chilled out, relaxed, just you know, smiling. Freeze just kind of kicking back now. He's like, we've got 8 rounds, fine.
It's a stark contrast to their body language from the last map, but you know, that's the beauty of these teams. The top teams can just reset themselves, go outside, have a talk about it, clear the air. Whatever problem persisted in that last match, forget it. We're into a new map, new game. And it seems to have worked well for him. You can see Freeze obviously itchy to get back into this one. You know, when you are 8-1 up, despite the fact you have just lost the last round, actually, the pause probably benefited Copenhagen Wolves, because, you know, 3D Max are like, okay, guys, we finally won a round, like, G'ing themselves up. And then they get a pause, and suddenly, like, everything's stopped dead in its tracks. Whereas the Wolves are just like, guys, this is great. This is a fantastic start. They can be happy right now.
Yeah, the stoic Finn returns, and Natu there just looking pretty calm, pretty collected. It was a more experienced player, let's say. I don't want to call him old, yeah, that's a bit rude, but we'll say experienced, just to kind of find that middle ground. But he is certainly the guy on the team that when things do go well, it's going to be him doing well. So I'm hoping he can find some form here.
Yeah, well, of course, we do have a computer error right now. Freeze is having some problems with his PC, so I think we're going to swap out the box, which means we're going to go to a short break while that happens, because you don't want to listen to us, you don't want to look at us. Back in a few, guys. It's 3D Max Copenhagen Wolves. ESL Pro League Finals. It's not quite the finals, but you know what I mean. It is the LAN finals, and it is Copenhagen Wolves up against 3D Max. So, bit of information for you guys to start with. Score is currently 8-0. Yes, I said that correctly. 8-0 to the Copenhagen Wolves on the T side, because they are replaying the last round. There was a server issue that they've sorted out, and fair play to 3D Max. They've agreed to this, said, yep, all in fair play. Let's get this game back underway, and they're going to go straight away, which is a big one because it was the first round 3D Max actually picked up on the CT side. Yeah,
they still got 8 rounds against them though. So long road back, even if they did have that 1 round. So let's see if they can actually do it again. That's the biggest point here. Hopefully they can dig deep enough to find this. As you can see, everyone's back in the server now. The unpause has come in. So all should be good now. And looking, you can see both of the teams back to a similar buy they were on previously.
Yeah, and of course, if you've just joined us as well, don't forget that 3D Max are 1 map up. You can't see that on your screens just yet, but trust me, the little pip will appear in a moment. And it is, there it is. See that little green dot? That means 1-0. I know a lot of you guys at home have been going, I don't know what the score is, guys. It's like there's little dots. I know it's catching you out. It's normally a 1 and a 0, but it is 3D Max. And well, they are 1-0 up in this round because Karun has already found Snappy.
Yeah, the little dots aside, the important factor is that the actual, for once, 3D Max got the opener, but Stonder could get a lot of pressure out here. He's got 4 players, and I don't think he spotted the cross earlier on, but he's going to adjust off the back of that. I think he heard Freeze maybe making a shot, but the triple nade coming out. Great work from Stonder, but pinned to the ground by Hunden. So a 1-for-1 exchange, but losing out on the AWP, and losing a lot of the map control, as Natu will now have to keep check on those back stairs.
Freeze, as you say, expecting someone to come maybe try and rescue that AWP, but instead it is Disturbed. That grenade is going to be on point. Disturbed taking a chunk of damage. Freeze covering off, and it is going to be secret that they move into, but you can see Natu already in position, expecting Hunden and Asilian to come peeking. Meanwhile, Freeze, he's looking to see if he can get any openings over on the A side.
And this would be massive if Natu, I think he knows they're there. At least the information was gathered, but now Freeze is going to start executing towards lower as well. Just ballsy play again from Freeze going towards that lower side, but Natu was aware. He fell back swiftly and readjusted, but those 2 players remaining, Asilian and Hunden, in quite the spot to get a bit of a cheeky plan. He's trying to do it right in the middle of the smoke. Natu gets him. Asilian goes down, follows it up with the pistol, but it's Disturbed who got the kill. So, regardless of the reset, 3D Max do get themselves back on the 1 round.
Yeah, and you may be thinking Freeze was crazy to go for that one, thinking, why is the AWP rushing straight down there? Well, he has got 14k, so he's covered off for the next round or 2. So 3D Max, though, they do get their first round on the board, just as history repeats itself. And we do see a full buy from both teams.
Yeah, and the gentlemanly agreement to replay pays off for 3D Max, and you know, it's always good to see. And Disturbed getting confident off the back of it. First time we're seeing him push out towards that T-red side. Gonna get a little bit in the face here, and considering that the T-side have been getting constant control, but I think they know what's up. But will they expect Stonder watching the cross?
I think they must have caught a glimpse of him going across there. Either way, they're checking it.
Oh, he got the tag.
Does manage to get the tag, but not quite the killer. Sunion down to 17. That's the bomb loose as Disturbed rattles MM4 shots off. Freeze will respond, but damage may well be done. They know the bomb is loose on the outside. It's already been gathered by Copenhagen Wolves as they look to move on around. Freeze is on fire right now. Stonder just knocked off his feet where he stood. And now Snappy looking to make the move in towards A side.
Yeah, and now 3v3, it's going to be difficult. The T side can kind of pull the CTs around as they will, but there's still Natu alive, who's been doing great work towards lower, but actually this time holding upper. They can put Zart down by Dawn, just kind of open it, shut it. Zart can just adjust around and not really overcommit, but SMF and Snappy are the ones with the bomb. You can see the setup here. You can see what they're watching. It's a nice little crossfire, but Snappy's starting to work his way through. Gonna try and get ram control, he's got it. But will they expect the player on towards lower? Zart is just holding the bomb site. Freeze shows a shoulder, moves around, SMF goes down, great work from Zart. I think he should have spotted the bomb off of that, re-challenges Freeze in some fashion, and now Snappy 1v2, he's gotten down Corone, but can he find any more? Snappy going for a cheeky plant, Zart denies it, only needing that one man on the lower side, perfectly brought it to a 1v1 into every situation, so well handled.
Yeah, Zart absolutely stepping up beautifully there, and 3D Max get themselves another round on the board. That was, as far as I'm aware, well, he says the first 3 kills for Zart. I'm pretty sure he had them before. Yeah, I think that's telling me fibs the scoreboard is at the moment. But Zart, there we go. Yeah, that's going to be 6 kills for him. So the scoreboard's lying to me at the moment. Maybe I needed to rejoin. Nonetheless, 8-2 Copenhagen Wolves. Damage was done early on. What can 3D Max gather back from this one? Ston just catching a peek of something through the flames there, but didn't rattle a shot, didn't try anything. Zart actually quite aggressive in ramp room, actually, pushing up there. Will re-smoke it and then just step away. 3D Max holding the angles. Copenhagen Wolves trying something different this time, trying to get through that lobby.
Yeah, for once Copenhagen Wolves aren't focusing on the outside so early, but Freeze is still pushing out there, bearing in mind he's so confident out here. This guy has been dominating it, to be completely honest. Stonder's not been playing bad, but Disturbed might be in trouble here. Freeze does have some support, the 2 smokes coming in, but they know no one's crossing. So 3D Max have the information gathered, but Freeze taking down Disturbed may force them into a play here. Zart catches a glimpse towards Radio. I don't know how many he spotted then. One flash comes through, he's gonna back up, and now he needs to be that linchpin player as 4 players gonna start pushing towards him. Oh! He gets 2, but it's not enough. Asilian is still standing with the bomb, but 3 against him. The CT side should have this round.
Might well have been enough. Asilian, well, he's been playing brilliantly for the Copenhagen Wolves in the last matchup. Snappy will get taken down. Asilian's got it all to do, and Stonder gets him down with the pistol through the smoke. And it will be the 3rd round on the board for 3D Max. They've got to keep them going. They've got to keep them rolling. They've got to get up to that 7-figure. That's the highest they can hope for. And then they need to have themselves a very impressive T-side. As Zart lined up for him, didn't quite get the triple.
I'm wondering, I think it was Asilian who was like the first player to like jump down and do like the mid-air control almost and bring himself back in. And funny that he just adjusted a step back from the other 2. But all in all, you know, it's great seeing 3D Max pick up these rounds, if I can use my words. But they need so many. Picking up 3 on the CT side, still not enough. And they know that. They're focused on every single round they can. It's that great mentality these players have. You know, it's round by round. We try and forget what happened almost in the previous mentally, if you know the kind of emotional strain of it, and you just take it step by step, and hopefully they can do that. The man who's trying to stop them though has been Freeze on the outside, certainly putting Stonder in a very awkward predicament with Disturbed trying to help him out, but at the moment Disturbed just about going to make it round. And then once again Freeze, he's dominated this time and time again, and they're giving up control and having to sit further and further back now. Yeah,
Freeze has definitely been the man taking full control of the outside, and Stonder, he's having to check every single angle, because wherever he goes, wherever he looks, there is a player from the Copenhagen Wolves there, and it's buying him time because he's having to check the angle, and that's buying Freeze all the freedom he requires to go looking for 3D Max and go aggressive. Now we see them all stacking up. Zart's going to flush them beautifully here. That's going to catch 3 of them out, but unfortunately he couldn't land a single frag, and that may well be costing for 3D Max. Karun has managed to get himself in position. Natu also on the rotate as they move down to B-side.
Brave spot from Karun as well. He knew that the vents were open behind him. He could have been caught, but Stonder finds Freeze finally winning out in that AWP 1v1 battle that's occasionally been flirted with outside, bringing it to that lower bomb side, but Corone is still here. Nice work around that little bit of a silo at the bottom there, but they know there's 2 left. Good support from Natu in the vents, leaving just Snappy in a 1v2. He's got 4 seconds. He can't plant this anymore. The bomb was with him. It doesn't matter. Natu closes it. And the synergy from 3D Max, when it all works, looks so sublime, but you still can't deny an 8-round advantage still in the Copenhagen Wolves' favor.
Yeah, Disturbed's going to be kicking himself because he flashed them well, but unfortunately for him, 2 of them managed to spin away. He flashed 3 of them, but it was the 2 that saw him, was able to get him down, and instead they were all lined up for him, fully stacked. Could have been beautiful, but wasn't to be. It's one of those moments. 8-4 for Copenhagen Wolves. Still 4 rounds now picked up for 3D Max, and they need to keep on gathering this momentum, keep it going. Zart covering off that ramp room. That grenade is going to just come on through, doesn't quite catch out. I think Freeze was the only man that took took some damage, and this is going to be a Tech-9 push through the lobby straight away.
And while they set up this should be 3D Max's round. It looks like it's going away. Natu just going to be cleaning up with Corone. I do want to point out as well, while these guys are doing this, to equal up to exactly where that round ended off before that crash, when Snappy was already down, he pushed himself in completely open to be taken down first of all, to literally give them the same exact start where the issue prevailed. So as well, not only 3D Max having that very
nice.
good favor there, Governor Hagenwolf showing it as well, saying, if you're willing to do that, let me at least go a little bit on our way as well. So good work from both of the teams. It's kind of nice to see, so worth pointing out there. But it was 3D Max picking up that round. No surprise, the Tech-9 rush towards upper didn't really work out. And now we are back on the buy though for the T side. And this is where the danger can begin, because it's a ramp play, and actually Dart's pushed up this time. So a 1-for-1 exchange. Disturbed was still trying to support outside. And well, it's going to leave it completely open. The lower bomb site could be questioned very soon.
Yeah, Natu immediately pushing up behind them on the ramp. That's going to be Karun once again. Down the back there, Snappy's going for the plant through the smoke. It will go down. Didn't hear it. I think it's the smoke going off at the same time as why he didn't. But he knows there is one in that smoke, and it's Snappy that's going looking. We'll find him, but Karun reacts the fastest. Freeze about to drop down straight into the crosshairs of Disturbed. Now Hundo, the last man standing, what can he do? He's in a 1-on-2 now. He's already taken one out. Disturbed's about to drop down. This is possible. If Karun goes for that...
Oh, look at the HP, look at the HP. 38, he's down to 20!
Just burning out. And that was Disturbed having to literally throw himself in the angle to make sure Karun couldn't get stopped from that defuse.
Yeah, Hunden had to throw himself in the fire to try and get it. And, it was literally a do-or-die moment. That's the option. But I want to point out as well, I think it was Karun, who was on that lower bomb site just behind the silo. The way he flashed off the side, I think it actually caught two of them. Not only the player planting, but it also caught the player on that kind of catwalk to the right by the control room. And it was actually really well placed. It allowed him to slightly define that situation. But now, 6-8, the scoreline's looking... I don't know, possible for 3D Max. It's certainly looking more acceptable maybe in comparison to how it started, but Stunder kicking off with a cracker. That's going to take down Asilian and give finally some outer control towards the CT side. But as soon as they feel Freeze is there hunting, they back the hell up. They don't want to challenge him at the moment, and I don't blame them.
It's been a while since 3D Max got that opening frag in the outside. Natu's also taking down Snappy, so it's now just 3 members of the Wolves left. Freeze is looking, but Stonder's already got himself in and away. Freeze is looking at the right spot, but there's no way Stonder's ever going to step out, surely. Straight into the crosshairs of Freeze, or will he feel those prying eyes? Well, yes he will. He's just going to go straight into it. And now that battle has been raging, but it's Freeze that's coming out on top so many times. Karun has been holding and doing a great job over at the A site, while Zart's pushed himself very aggressively here. I don't know whether he's hearing the footsteps above him, but someone's about to drop down. And the Wolves are just trying anything right now. 2 members left, already 8 rounds on the board. Anything less is a bonus. And now it's down to SMF to try to pick something up. He will not get anything from Zart. So 8-7 was the score. 8 rounds back-to-back for the Wolves, followed by 7 rounds back-to-back for 3D Max. And of course, CSGOLounge.com getting their little sponsor in there. But more importantly, it is a big half for the Wolves, and they surely, to God, have themselves a brilliant chance at taking this to a 3rd map.
In theory, that man on your screen right there needs another really good performance. So Freeze, pretty much, I wouldn't say single-handedly, the team worked around him, but his work was a key factor into the way they pretty much won that whole T-side play. They overtook the outside time and time again, opening up the lower bomb site, really pushing 3D Max to maybe play out of their comfort zone. But prior to that last game watch with them against Titan for 3D Max, everyone was talking about how good 3D Max are on the T side here. And we saw time and time again these occasional pistol rounds with some real brilliance coming out from them, showing that they do have this class. But sadly, in the unfortunate ways that sometimes CS can play out, where you just don't get that final kill or something doesn't happen, they didn't pick them up. They just got close. So I want to finally see maybe what the hype's about with 3D Max, because they're going to have to bring it now. They're trailing, and now they're on the T side. It's going to be tough. And Karan, I think, just failed the jump towards the marshmallow outside.
So something we actually saw a lot of at Katowice as well as a lot of them. It's a tricky jump. It's a tricky jump. We'll let him off on that one. Freeso has this angle covered off. He was looking up there. There's 3 members of 3D Max stacked up. This pistol, very important for 3D Max, as it is for the Wolves, of course. 3D Max need to get as many rounds on the board as they can. 9 rounds is what they require on the T side, which is a gigantic ask here on Nuke. And now Freeze, well, just jumping frog through the Stonda, bouncing through. Well, if he doesn't get him with an AWP, he'll get him with a pistol.
I guess so. Now, 3 left for the T side. They're in quite a nice position, though. I don't know how much Grun can actually achieve from here, though, now. Might be able to get... No jumping Glock to be found. You can see them moving away from it. But bomb is with Zart, so at least that's not been dropped just yet. And they're just looking for opportunities, any way to get into these sites. There's still, I think, 3 players towards the upper site there, which is going to be pretty difficult to work through. Cillian just sitting down towards the lower vents, holding not only the back push, but he can spot out ramp, but actually being caught out a little. But the information was gathered and they know where 3D Max are heading, but Natu having his ideas of his own, and Zart follows up. This is big play coming out from Natu, single-handedly turning the tides, and SMF surely to fall. Does go down to Corona in the end, and 3D Max bring it back. It's 8-8.
That's the pistol round they needed. Let's see what they can stack on top. Meanwhile, the Wolves are chasing. They know that that was a round that may well cost them a couple more. As we see the SMG starting to get acquired by 3D Max. P90 actually coming out as Zart. Meanwhile, it's an assortment of SMGs and the Tech 9 for Ston.
Oh, Cillian might be in for it. There we go. Let's see what the scout can do. We saw Kenny S picking, I think it was 3 outside here, all in various spots. I don't think they're going to actually play it, so it's a little bit of a passive angle for him, and Freeze just pushing up as well. So they've kind of claimed some control outside here for the CT side, but 3D Max not really making a play just yet, seeing if maybe the CTs were going to go aggressive, try and find out any information, but Snappy holding the angles, SMF doing the same, so it's all very quiet so far.
Yeah, not a shot fired in the opening exchanges.
Oh, look at this play towards upper.
It's going to be a quick pile on through, and these are SMGs, remember, if they can cover up all the angles. Cillian is going to get himself up into heaven, but not landing the shot. Snappy, though, does a good bit of damage. SMF's going to try and come around the backside, but, well, when you're trying to rush on through, he has got a 5.7. A lot of bullets in that gun, but he needs to start landing them. That's what he's trying to find. There's one. Zart going down, and suddenly we're in a 2-on-2 here. 3D Max pressure on Cillian, trying to hold position, but 3D Max have adjusted. They've moved their way down in towards B side. Cillian moving straight down there. Just a pixel was all Disturbed required to try and catch a glimpse from him. He's going to push up, get up close and personal on Cillian. And now SMF left on his own. Bomb plant down, only got a 5.7, but he's already proved it can do a lot of damage. He's in a bad position though, as 3D Max have this angle covered off. They're both in and around the ramp. They're going to come from both angles. SMF trying to tag them off, won't quite get Disturbed down. And it will be 3D Max to get themselves the second round, but it was a bit costly for them.
It was, but I do like the way that they went down towards lower, not just kind of brute forcing it out towards upper, trying to make that 2v2 work, respecting the fact there was still that scout in play, and they just went straight to lowers, got the bomb down and dealt with it there. So all in all, good stuff from 3D Max, now 9-8, but a clean eco coming out for Copenhagen Wolves. They shouldn't be able to do much damage, and you can see that we're seeing mostly, a couple of rifles here and there, starting to get these more serious buys in, where the Mac Daddy's still out for Zart. So maybe something to be done with it. They certainly make him some bank if they do land the shots, but Stonda here just holding his own, and a 4-man stack towards ramp, maybe expecting this SMG presence to come into play.
Yeah, absolutely have this one covered up if it were to come into action. Now, Zart's the man that's prying on the outside, and if he manages to push up, which is exactly what he's doing now, because there's a lot of smokes and flashes on the outside. You're not seeing him. You can check him on the minimap, number 3, making his way through Zart. It's going to give them information and say, it's completely clear out here, guys. They must be stacking a site out somewhere. And with Disturbed already in and around A site, along with the rest of his team, they know that it is not the A site that they're going to go towards. So 3D Max playing role reverse now, and they are down to the defenders. Ston gets one, gets tagged up on Hunden, doesn't quite get the second, lit up pretty heavily. SMF will finish that job, but Zart now, the man that was around the outside, is giving them the crossfire. The crossfire angle they required as Natu moves on through. 5.7 of SMF working wonders though. Gets himself 2. Rescue some form of SMG from this one. Nope, because he's going to run straight in towards Disturbed. He'll get himself a double. And another round for 3D Max. 10-8 now the score, but is it going to be enough for 3D Max? That's the 3 rounds. Now the buy comes out from the Wolves.
And to be fair, though, for a completely clean eco out of the Copenhagen Wolves, that was pretty darn good. They didn't even have anything to work with, and they kind of forged something out of it. The MAC-10 and UMP struggling a little bit at range outside, but still, this is the big round, as you said. Big buy-up coming out for the T's. No messing around now. It's AKs and AWPs. And on the other side, just one Famis in Hunter's hand, so maybe trying to make what he can out of it.
So Stonda not choosing to go outside with the AWP, instead going for the battle in a ramp room. And it is going to be SMF, once that smoke clears, that may well be on the receiving end of Stonda's rifle. But as it stands, 3D Max smoking it up, trying to sell the fake, trying to say, hey, look, we're going into secret, guys, get down into B site, and that's what... Doesn't look like the rotation's coming from Copenhagen Wolves. They're holding steady. They seem to have enough information to hold themselves. SMF knows that this ramp room is currently covered off, but Stonda does find the opening frag.
And that's big. Again, 3D Max, as you said, he wasn't focusing towards the outside area, focusing in towards ramp, but Asilian already predicting this, going to get himself tucked away. I wonder what he can achieve from this one. Just going to have to wait it out, see what the others can do as well. Stonda takes down Hunden. The bomb will be crossing. Zart's crossing it off, and Zart gonna go down. Nice work from Asilian, double, and the bomb is loose on the site. Now the rest need to clear up the mess, which may be Snappy, I guess you would have to say, who's still lurking around. As Asilian's just gonna tuck himself in, they're gonna need to open up. They were trying to, but he shut the door on them. Asilian gets down, Stonda, Snappy comes in. They're turning, and Disturbed somehow gets the bomb down. These two are low, but Disturbed is tucked into a corner. 1v2. Asilian left, Snappy right, Snappy goes. The aggressive play and Disturbed just locks it in, and the frustration showing for the Copenhagen Wolves.
Massive play from Disturbed. He was actually top fragging in this one, considering he was bottom fragging by a considerable margin over on Cobblestone. But look at this play, Asilian, so sneaky, so cheeky, and they lined up perfectly for that plant. He knew exactly what he wanted, and it worked out for him almost for the Copenhagen Wolves. 11-8, 3D Max get themselves the 4th round on the board on the T side. And they continue to start rolling. And this is what they need. They need to get that momentum going, because the Wolves almost certainly will get themselves around at some point. But they're back to pistols. And we see Frieza already eating 3 grenades all on top of his head. You can't survive that many.
No, Asilian's in a good spot. He could maybe wait a little bit more. And you can see them getting frustrated. This is sheerly just maybe missing a couple of shots here and there. And 12 bullets now, and that's easy. Going to go for the aggressive play, trying to pick up Natu, but not going to find him there as Disturbed cleans up 2 as the push out comes in. And really nicely done so far for 3D Max, keeping every single player alive here.
SMF, last man, going to try and push up round P250. It's all he's got, but it's Disturbed, the top fragger for 3D Max, that will get himself another on the board. 12-8, 3D Max trying to close out this map, and now they only need 4. Now it's starting to get a little scary for Copenhagen Wolves as they start to fall themselves behind, and a little worry in the back of their minds is thinking, we haven't quite got one on the CT side. 5 rounds to the good for 3D Max, but now once again we are seeing Freeze with that AWP. He's been winning the battle against Stonda every time, but we can see Stonda's not interested in that. This is a fast push from 3D Max, which was cut off by the smoke.
Yeah, they start Corona and Zart towards the outside as well, so not completely putting all their eggs in one basket, but maybe looking for the opportunity to, if maybe that smoke hadn't have gone down. But as you said, this is maybe what people were discussing with 3D Max and their T side, that they can put up really good performances. And I want to see how all this continues.
Oh, the wall banging from Natu. He's trying to get through, and actually tagged up Hunden to 70. That was just wall banging done.
Oh, they didn't play outside. If they did, he was just outside of where the smokes were covering. And now because that push didn't come in, surely SMF is going to be on guard. Hunden starts watching towards Hut, starts getting a little bit curious because they're not outside. Where the hell are they? And while the flash comes in from over the top, Snappy is now surrounded. He takes down one, but Zart is going to stop it. But Hunden waited out perfectly, 2 back-to-back. And now Corona and Zart surely can't finish this one off as well.
Freeze tagged heavily up in heaven. That's going to force him away. Is he going to go for the repeat? That's the question. The bomb is going to come out from Karun. And he has the angle covered off. SMF, the man that's coming from the outside. Freeze still up there. Oh, that didn't land properly. And they're going to not be looking. They're going to be expecting him to be backed off here. And Freeze is going to peek around, but Zart does get a second chance of looking. SMF coming in a 2-on-1. Catches a glimpse on Karun, gets him through the wall. Just one more, the bomb ticking. That grenade's going to rattle around, but it's not going to do enough damage. And Karun will pick up the kill. It's 13-8, and Copenhagen Wolves still yet to find themselves a CT round. This is just flip-flopping all over the place, this map. I don't know what is happening.
That was like a 2v5 as well. Zart got 4 in that round, and Karun just closed out the last. And that's brilliant stuff, and they weren't easy kills. He had to forge that out of nothing. You saw Hunden, you saw what damage he did when he was just sitting there waiting by the vent by Squeaky, but it was so damn good. And as the observers point out, there is no money now for the CTs. Look at that. They're down to just, no head armor. They're down to the Famases. Smokes on SMF and Hunden. They've got the full set almost. But look at Freeze. Can't hold outside. And it looks like 3D Max know that as well. Putting initial pressure a lot more aggressively towards out there. Sonda maybe trying to get a little bit of revenge for the way it felt on the other side. So already 3D Max starting to maybe get in the heads a little bit here of the Wolves. Zart just doing wonderfully already on this side.
Opening things up. Freeze had adjusted his position. He's just saw actually while we were looking at him with 3 grenades that came into the position which he got caught out square last time. No armor for him, but he has managed to rescue that M4 from Snappy, so he has himself a rifle. Zart, though, got around the backside, and that's opened up Disturb to come through and ram. Does catch a glimpse of SMF as he's backing off there. The flash is going to come through, and they're going to be pushing him from every angle.
They certainly are. SMF does have himself in towards that dark spot, but as you said, Disturb going to find him straight away. Asilian quick on the rotate, though, might be able to stop this bomb plant. He sees it going past, but Plani in the backside in that tiny little corner behind that sheet of metal as 3D Max will get 2 back-to-back kills. And the CT side of Copenhagen Wolves are struggling right now. They don't really have that much money to be working with going forward, and more than anything, Freeze is just not having the presence he had on that previous side. And it's such a weird display seeing 2 teams excel on the T side rather than CT here.
Yeah, this is possibly the 7th round running. Almost certainly will be for 3D Max on the T side. Well, Copenhagen Wolves went 1 better and got them 8, but as of yet, they've not picked up a single thing. And after forcing to get into that round, that AWP is maybe crucial for them because, they didn't even get to hold on to that. And the wry smile on Freeze's face says it all, and they're going to have to get themselves back in. They can afford to get the AWP on for Freeze. He did go saving completely, remember, in that last round. He only had the pistol, so he's safe for this one, but it's FAMASes across the board for everybody else.
It is indeed. Let's see what they can do it. They need to do something, because this is almost match point for 3D Max. They won the first, and they've gone back-to-back rounds on the T side here on Nuke, and they're a team that is showing so much potential here. And while the flash comes in, doesn't really work with SMF, but he's overwhelmed by the vast majority of 3D Max heading down towards that ramp. Now Snappy and Asilian are going to have to try and work on setting something up here. Snappy knows they're not playing towards him, so Asilian's going to get a little bit of a nod saying, hey buddy, they're going to be coming your way soon, as already Hunden's by that lower site. So this is going to be tough, but this could be a huge round coming in for 3D Max, even though they're taken very low so far.
Well, Asilian had himself a good setup, but that window's smoked off, and now the rest of 3D Max push in. Good flash from Hunden there, but nobody's following it up, and this site heavily smoked off. Snappy's going to come around the backside of them. Copenhagen Wolves do still have 4 members alive. Zart's going to be the first man, but he's going to catch one down. We'll get the second
Freeze
as
needed
well.
that.
Freeze didn't land the shot he needed. Asilian still in the window, manages to get a glimpse of one, but doesn't get the tag down, and Karun will find him. And now we are on match point for 3D Max as they are 15-8 up. They themselves have now gone 8 rounds back-to-back on the T side. This is unbelievable.
Zart, 3 kills in that as well. What a player. He is showing so much power on this T side, getting himself up from a mediocre scoreline, let's say nothing terrible, but getting up so strong. And the observers are seemingly enjoying this. It's been a run of performance for 3D Max. The later half of their CT side started to get the prowess going, but it did take this T performance to really shake things up. And this could be them working their way through here. This is what they're waiting for. 4 players standing in the way. The Wolves are dying for even anything here, just a scrap to be thrown towards them to give them a shot, because at the moment it seems like a lifetime away.
Stonda looking, Asilian smoked off, Snappy flamed off, everything going 3D Max way. Karun tossing out the grenade, catching a little backside of Snappy, but he might get himself a little free look onto Zart there as he went for the boost. That means somebody is up in heaven. That's where SMF is going looking. He knows Karun's up there, but Karun lands the shot first. And now it's a 3-on-3. Snappy, he's going to get gunned down. Karun on fire as he keeps on tracking down the targets of the Copenhagen Wolves. Asilian going to come running around the corner, and already the smoke is there. The doors are covered, the windows are covered. 3D Max are in position, and Asilian, he's going to try and push through.
He's looking for something. Hunden finds 2. That's brilliant. And now 1v1. Karun to save this, to take it through as a win. Or can maybe Asilian do the damage? Bomb down. Who's going to take it?
Oh, it's Asilion. Manages to get in there, and that is the first round of the last 15 running that 3D Max have picked up. The Wolves finally get their first CT round. And well, we saw it go 8-7 before. Can it go 8-7 again?
And I've got to say, you know, Asilion, yeah, he closed out that 1v1, but Hunden's play then to pick up 2, just going above and beyond almost. It's not what you see every single day, but then again, 3D Max got picked apart a little early then. They didn't get the opener, they didn't get that decisive play, and Freeze, a little bit of a head shake, looking frustrated by this, and do you blame him? They're on the CT side, they've managed 1 round so far. He's going to be forced down to a scout. It's still this mixed buy. They don't get the best out of it, even for their win a round off the back of a loss. And now Natu and all the boys have everything they need in their arsenal. Full buy-ups here. Freeze, if he wants to maybe get some dominance outside, he's going to have to work for it. Natu gets tagged, goes for the follow-up with a jump shot, not going to get it just yet. But at the moment, Copenhagen Wolves, every single peek they take is dangerous, but look at the setup. They're getting ready for it outside. Freeze will be on the receiving end. He's going to back, try and adjust, and let's see if they commit to it.
Getting fully smoked off. He's going to get maybe a glimpse before the smoke pops. No, not even that. He's going to try a couple of lucky shots, but Asilion is in position, but they are all going to be looking in his direction the moment he pops out. He gets himself one, backs up. Nicely done. Quickly adjusts the grenade. Follow-up second one as well. Can he get the third? Azart's going to check around the corner. He's going to come through. Will get the third. Won't get the fourth, though. But the damage may well have already been done. As 3D Max are down to 2. Stonda pushing through the... Disturbed's got himself in a good situation here. If Hunden comes up checking, he may just catch a glimpse of the head. Hunden quicker to react and snappy there to cover him off. And now Stonda, the last man, is going to go straight into the crosshairs of Hunden. And the Copenhagen Wolves do get themselves the second CT round. 15-10 now the score. Still on match point, remember. 3D Max taking that cobblestone map.
And I love watching Asilion there. He had the perfect escape plan to playing those back steps. Not only the initial peek, the follow-up nade off the back of it, and then the cheeky little pop flash just in case anyone was close enough just to run through the kind of grenade tag. He had that perfect plan set up. So worked out well for him, but the CTs are still pretty strapped for cash. They do have a couple of AKs taken over. Freeze is still on the scout, but it's a pretty viable gun, I guess, in these situations. It's certainly more so in the patches upcoming. So Zart toying with danger there, going for these jumping kind of positions. You can easily snap to these sort of shots, especially at Freeze's sort of caliber and range. But still, a cautious start here. 3D Max have done this before. Let's throw our minds back to Inferno when they were against Titan. They had such a firm lead. They were doing so well, and then it slipped, and it all went wrong. They have got maybe that little bit of an inkling in the back of their minds, like, okay, let's make sure that doesn't happen again, because if the Wolves start rolling, they are on CT side here. It is favored for a very good reason. Already Stonda looking like he wants to get into this, get some control going early, but it's the push towards upper. Asilion is there, as is him again. He's going absolutely wild this time. 2 kills back to back, and that's completely thrown off the T side. Stonda having to start to look back towards ramp now. Zart taken so low, and Natu completely out of this one. He's just kind of holding them back, making sure they don't get pushed too early, but 3D Max are kind of being corralled around this map now.
Yeah, 2 members working their way down and towards ramp. Snappy in the vents, being kept at length by Zart, but, well, Snappy managed to pop out. Doesn't get Stonda, though. Second time of asking. Natu needs to join his teammate, and Freeze has already got around the backside of him. The pistol, the 5-7 whipping was done, and Natu now kept away from this bomb site. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to hide? Asilion looking, no time for him. They're not going to find him, I don't think. Asilion not going to see him just around the corner, no. So he will get away with a gun. Asilion, I'll tell you what, he's dragging his team screaming and kicking towards overtime, and he needs to right now because they need something to get them there. 25 frags for him. He's 5 frags ahead of anyone else. Meanwhile, 3D Max, pretty damn well even spread for them. 20 across the board for 4 members.
Natu still has the AK though, so that could do a lot of damage here. They might just speed up. I don't know where they want to take this. You can see Natu challenging towards outside. Everyone else is going in slowly but surely, lining up towards upper. So Natu may just be the distraction here, and here comes that overwhelming presence. They get the 1-for-1 exchange. This is still on here. They could do this.
Snappy is still up in heaven, though. They haven't managed to deal with him, and Asilion is ready to pounce. They want to go for the crossfire, draw the angles, draw everything away from them, but they don't manage to land any of their frags. Asilion goes down. SMF, he tries to peek up. Snappy still up in heaven, gets himself one down, but 3D Max yet to get this one covered off. Still no bomb plant, so the time is still ticking, but there's plenty of it. 3 on 3. That molly not going to do enough to burn anyone out. Freeze, if he can find his angle, he will. And that's Karun down. And suddenly what started off as a great round for 3D Max as they pushed on through is suddenly starting to whittle away from them. Snappy, he's just waiting. Natu wants anything, any glimmer will be a headshot, but they're not showing for him. They're going to have to go for the plant, and Snappy's going to look. That's going to draw their attention. Natu still trying to cover him off. They get the bomb down, but Freeze is just closing the angles off, slowly but surely, suffocating 3D Max, and that will be another good, clean pickup from Copenhagen Wolves. They get the defuse. They get themselves another round on the board. I think this is going to the wire. I think this is going all the way. That's 4 rounds now, back-to-back for the Wolves. Just another 3, and we're at overtime.
But then again, the bomb plant came in. It was a very close round. They took down 2 CT players. So credit where it's due. 3D Max and were just on, I think, just Tech 9s. I don't think they had armor either. So really, that round went very well. And you can see it now reflected in their buy-up. They have still a good bit of money left over and a full investment here. The AWP with Stonder as well. And he had a good performance. I want to see him again. So much potential in that man. And Freeze will be the man to challenge on the other side. And Stonder is there. I think he just saw the tip of the AWP. But not going to be able to connect towards that, as clearly not a body part to be hit. But still, Vasilian pushed up aggressively outside. So the first time I think we're seeing him here, they're starting to really read 3D Max well.
Yeah, and actually Freeze backing off has kind of drawn the attention to here. Nobody looking. Vasilian gets 2. Can he make it 3? Yes, he can. Couldn't quite. Flick switch to the pistol. Freeze will get taken down by Stonder. So it's not all bad. If Disturb can get some of these shots through the smoke, well, wasn't quite to be for him. The Wolves, well, what started off brilliantly suddenly cost them on the outside. Now Disturbed, who was top fragging a moment ago, but Karuna's certainly challenged that one, as Stonder with him. So they're moving in support. 2 members down there. You can see SMF is already in position, ready and waiting for them. Hunden can just drop down into vents at any time, but SMF trying to do what Asilian pulled off previously, and he's ready and waiting to pounce out of the closet.
Well, 20 seconds, they have to commit for this, and nice molly work there, going to slow Hunden down, and actually SMF doesn't get the full shot off. Stonder's still alive. 12 HP or not, he is in this game. Disturbed, going to go for a dangerous around the world. Don't tell me he's actually going to do it. Just slows himself down, and this is still possible. Stonder gets 1, that's Hunden gone. Goes to the follow-up, Disturbed gets it, it's 1v1 Disturbed. Up against Snappy, 3D Max could close here.
He knows he doesn't need to go looking. He has to go for the defuse, and he's going to get his head. Oh, he missed a couple of shots there. Should have possibly landed it. He's sticking it. Oh, Snappy whips around quickly. Can he get the defuse? I don't think so. I think 3D Max. Oh, he's got it. Oh, my God. Down to the wire, but the Wolves, they're still in the game. It's 15-13.
Disturbed should not have missed that shot. He had him lined up. You could see that pressure, everything mounting up then. And Asilian's initial play, he picked up so much worth here. 3 back-to-back, out of bullets. He did the damage as best he could. And this is the full in here. Stonder, no armor, going to do what he can with just that AWP. Last time, he cleaned up 2. Can he find Freeze again? That was after Asilian found 3, so it was certainly a reply more than an initial move. And here we go, Freeze up against Stonder. Freeze holding the closer right angle. Stonder crouching under, and that is brilliant prediction play from Stonder, knowing Freeze would be holding that angle and just countering it well. But Snappy, nothing else says welcome.
Yeah, took a peek, and that's all he wanted. Didn't want to stick around there. Tried to get a look shot into Stonder. Did manage to tag him up, but that's all. Asilian playing up close, but the outside is in full control of 3D Max as they move their way around. Is it going to be upper or lower? It's going to be secret they're going towards. That's been Asilian's territory the last few times, but he is not in position this time around. We do see that he is up in lobby, and he's checking out the lobby, so they know they're not there. It's Snappy that's there. Oh, tagged! Didn't even see it coming. Asilian going to get around the back of Disturbed. Will find him. Got tagged up a little bit in the process, but this is all in favor of 3D Max. Remember, this is the match point for them. If they can get anything from it, it will be a win. Asilian gets 1, Hunden comes through, and this attack has been stopped dead in his tracks. And that was a full risky buy for 3D Max, and surely they've got just about enough to scrape together a buy But 3D Max are still on match point, and it's been 6 rounds running for the Copenhagen Wolves. I can't believe we've had this. 8-7 in the first half, and well, we're looking at another 8-7 in the second.
It's been a bit of a backwards map here, but it's the big one now. This is 3D Max's time to shine. They were doing so well until it just snapped. It just stopped. Things that were working before, the picks coming in, just weren't there. But look at Asilian down solo. Natu finding a great opener onto a player who's been pivotal for the Wolves up until this point. But now 1 minute and 20 on the board. They've got time to work with. Where do they take this? Who do they want to put their odds against? It looks like SMF will be on the receiving line, and 4 players about to come pouring in. He's going to be having to do this and do it big, but only takes 1 on the exchange.
Cillian is down. He's the top fragger for the Wolves. He's been dragging them screaming and kicking, and that may well be a big problem for them, because 3D Max, well, they were 1 man to the good. Make it, no! Karun's got through. He's got around the back line. Freezer's going to push through, but he's been smoked off. That grenade has to be pivotal. Is it on point? He's going to get a peek through window. Smoke's not quite covering him off. But Snappy loses the duel. It's a 2-on-2. Snappy on site. Karun keeping him at bay. Will get himself one start to get the second. And 3D Max have done it. Finally, they get themselves that last round. They've been sitting on match point for 7 rounds running. Whew, they finally close it out. 9-6, it finishes on the T side for 3D Max. What an impressive T side from both teams, but more importantly, 3D Max take the game 2-0, and they will move through to face Titan later on in the day.
Stonda, that last little moment, that double pushing him perfectly, but that did get taken all the way. This was the most backwards game sometimes. You see CT just struggling for so long, and then that little switch happens and it all starts coming back into place. But for the Wolves, it was a good performance. Freeze turned up outside. He was absolutely instrumental in the amount of control that he brought to them. And then for a player to turn that around was just as impressive. Stonda, to me, was outstanding at times throughout that as an all player. To be able to counter what Freeze was bringing, you know, maybe on a normal level, Freeze wouldn't have been such an overbearing challenge, but he was on point during that game, and it took something very impressive to stop that. But overall, brilliant matchup.
Yeah, 29 frags for Cillian as well. Didn't quite get the 30 bomb there. Disturbed also coming up big, despite having a poor cobblestone. Suddenly picked it up on Nuke. Fantastic play throughout. What a tournament so far. We didn't quite get the 3rd map this time. I think this is only the 2nd time we've not gone and had a 2-0 this map. It's been a pretty long tournament throughout.
It has, but I think we did pretty good then, considering Cobble was a map that 3D Max historically are not a big fan of, don't have the best results on, and then Nuke, which was in theory their home map, something they should have been quite comfortable on, should have had this very comfy start to it, or a more comfortable start, should I say. It was super close throughout. The things that you hope kind of happen, where the underdog picks up the map that's not theirs, they get super close on the second. You see the back and forth between CT and T. All of that kind of happened. So even though it was only 2 maps, they were pretty good 2 maps.
They were pretty damn good 2 maps. Well, the man that maybe surprised himself on cobblestone is standing by. It is Natu with Sean Charles.
Thank you so much, Lee. Natu. Wow. Let's start at the beginning. What changed at the half? I mean, you go 15 rounds. Talk us through it. Tell us everything.
On Nuke? Well, I think they caught us a bit like our pants down on Nuke first. Like we were down 8-0. That's not very, not a usual Nuke, right? But I don't know. We were just talking about it like, we were not hitting our shots. We were just not winning our duels. It's not like we were doing any. Like, we're playing in the wrong way. It's just like we're not winning our battles. And then after the pause happened, I think that was pretty good for us because I think we pretty much won it out. And then going to second half, we were like, all right, we got a pretty good T half. We can just get the ball rolling. We need the pistol. That was the first thing we thought about. And then when we got that, we just sort of like, because we just played against these guys a week ago. So we sort of, I think we were maybe thinking too much at certain points, especially when it went to like 15-8, whatever. We started overthinking a little bit, and then losing in some situations we shouldn't have, and then just made it tense.
I mean, I was watching with the guys, the analyst desk, and they were like, "This is crazy. This isn't the way it should be." Did it feel crazy being in that moment, or like, what do you guys say to each other, or how do you manage that you're kind of breaking the odds, so to speak?
You just keep composure. Just focus on the upcoming round. you don't really, like, we're a team who just mostly laughs about playing. Like, we're just having a good time and enjoying it and try to keep it light, you know, the mood and everything. And no, we were just thinking about the upcoming round and just be sure to get those 5 kills each round.
Now, you guys also seem to prefer the SMGs. It seems to be something that you use, that the guys use. Can you tell us anything about that, what that's about?
Well, you can ask Gabe at Valve. I mean, you know, it's the way it is. I mean, I'm going to use the things that they give me, and they gave me a good SMG, and I'm going to use that in my advantage. I think it's something, you know, down the line we're going to see how it plays out. But right now, you know, it gives you a really good mobility. You can move around and maneuver and shoot at the same time. I mean, it's fun times.
Excellent. And of course, fun times will continue because we have a Titan for you around the corner. What's next for you guys preparing for that?
Really actually looking forward to that. We felt like we threw that match away, especially Inferno was a horrible throw from us. So I'm really happy we get a second chance against them, and we're really going to put our 150% into it.
Well, we look forward to seeing the 150%. Congratulations, thank you so much. I'm sure there'll be lots to talk about, and that'll of course happen under the guidance and wisdom of my dear friend, Machine.
Thanks very much, Sean. You are my dear friend too. It's going to be a bit of an odd one to analyze because, again, we seem to just be living it up in ESL Pro League final kind of spirit. And just blowing everything we thought we knew about Nuke out of the water there, or at least we thought for some time that was the case. And all I can say is, Jonathan, can you explain?
I mean, for me, that was just purely momentum based. Like, it didn't seem like anyone actually did anything like special. It was just like everyone were in a really good mood and the other ones were down, and then after the break, you know, they talked it through, they came into a momentum. I mean, I think Copenhagen Wolves had 8 rounds in a row. Yeah. Then 3D Max picks up 15 rounds in a row, and, you know, eventually, you know, I think they pick up 6 rounds in a row, then Copenhagen Wolves, then there was not a single round like in between the rounds. So it's just, for me, that's just crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, and I actually played out quite similar to what we saw on the first map on Cobble. It's first to run from one team, then another team responds, and well, in the first game, 3D Max goes on a second run, and that was it. And this, I guess, 3D Max took it to another extreme by going 15 rounds instead of having 2 separate runs. They just kind of went for one huge one.
But I mean, 15 in a row, that must be like crazy uncommon, right?
Yeah, well, you
can you think, is a game coming to mind? I don't think it is.
No, and especially not from a scenario where you're actually down. You might win a half 15-0 on Nuke on CT side.
More common,
yeah, exactly. But you don't see the turn of events really, where the game just completely flips on its head. Especially with the fact that, sure, they got 7 rounds in a row on the CT side, and you're thinking, well, they kind of had to. That's meant to happen. That's not that uncommon, but that they actually continue everything going into the T side. That's the most impressive thing. And I guess with that said, we should kind of credit Copenhagen Wolves as well, because they did the same thing. And they managed to do the same thing on their T side initially as well. And that was largely due to, as Pansy was alluding to, Freeze's play out in Yard.
Well, let's put the stats on the screen so we can see how he performed as well. But I mean, Freeze has been really on form, especially in that game. You can see some stand-up performances from Kern as well, an individual you guys were highlighting before, his KDA and his fantasy points taking a big leap there. And on the other side of things, Freeze, talk to me about his performance.
Freeze was absolutely brilliant on the T side. For those 8 first rounds, it was Freeze who was kind of the driving force for Copenhagen Wolves, opening up space for them and allowing them to actually get into the opportunities and situations to pick up a lot of easy rounds, if you want to, in quotations mark. On the CT side, it was more Resilient, bringing it back after that massive run from 3D Max, and I think part of that massive run was obviously due to several players from 3D Max, but to me, Disturbed had a really, really quiet first half on the CT side, but he came like a 18-wheeler on that T side and just drove over people. That was just an extremely weird game. So it's really hard to wrap your head around it actually when you look at it, because this is not supposed to happen.
Well, we're kind of on trend with things not happening, going to plan so far, and I don't think we're showing any signs of stopping, Jonathan. This just was a kind of an odd one. Any kind of closing comments on this result with 3D Max emerging victorious?
I mean, great play and great mental fortitude by both teams, I guess. I mean, just pulling it back from each other. It was a really intense game. I can imagine just playing it. It would be insane.
Yeah, I plan to watch that back with the TS, the POV streams. I bet they were crazy.
Actually, we saw a couple of tweets while that massive 3D Max run was happening, and this actually tells a bit of a story as to how good of a job Copenhagen Wolves did to actually bring it back from that point, because they were starting to jab at each other. And if somebody misses a flash for another player, it's like, well, stop talking. It's just silly to listen to you. Like nothing. They were getting rough with each other, and then they still managed to bring it back to the point where they nearly get it to overtime. So they might have been flustered, but they still managed to bring it back and play fairly well through.
And it takes a lot.
Times.
It takes an awful lot to stabilize as a team. Like, I mean, everyone who's played a video game ever knows what it's like to go on tilt and to start feeling that negativity, and to be able to, on stage, just turn that around and be like, okay, new face, new game, new round. That takes an awful lot. So credit to them where it is due. Commiserations to Copenhagen Wolves, though, as they are now saying goodbye to the tournament. And it's time to maybe start looking forward to the next game. We're going to be having Dignitas up against Navi, which is going to be such a fun game to watch and to bring to you guys very shortly. But until then, it's once again time for a break. Do, in the meantime, though, get over to @ESLCS and let us know your predictions for the next game.